Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Division 3 of F1 Total. We're here in Las Vegas for what I believe is now round 7. I've immediately forgotten what I wrote 30 seconds ago. It is round number 7 here in Las Vegas, and it's a track that's heavily battery dependent, and I think that will show with the gaps. I can't imagine it's going to be the tightest of races, because the gap between those that will know or have a vague idea of how to manage their battery, those have done a bit more practice, and those that haven't, you'd imagine will be quite large. But we've got Axton heading out onto the circuit along with a few others. We've got Dylan in, well, not in second place, he is the second car on track. Then there's I believe it's the two Cadillacs of, no, it's the Cadillac and the Haas, because the colours are identical, because why wouldn't they be, of Actric and Viral. But yeah, we've got Axton just coming around on the main straight for the first time to start his first lap of qualifying. I'm joined by Sully as well, who's...
Hello, good evening.
Here tonight. I don't know what Felix is up to. Felix is doing something TTN, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so, yes.
Yeah, don't know. Felix is... I don't think he's going to be doing much on a Tuesday for the near future because of all that. Of those team responsibilities and other such boring things. As Axton takes us through turn number 9, and yeah, you can see, like, not used basically any of that battery because you need to save it all for the huge straight coming up in just a corner's time. It's not going to be a fun one for battery, I imagine. As now you'd guess he's going to use most of it up, and then they come through the final chicane, recharge a little bit more, and then use the entire thing up to the line. As already Axton's clipping down the straight now and is recharging. I don't know what battery mode he's actually in. You don't get to see that. As he takes us round the final chicane, starts deploying the battery again, and then he should be able to just hold that boost button down until the line. But it definitely is going to take time for these drivers to figure out what they're doing if they haven't already. It's a 32.8 as the first lap from Axton. Next car is going to be Dylan, who... yeah, as one of the championship contenders, he is leading the championship at the moment. I thought so, I just didn't want to say it for sure. Dylan leads the championship at the moment. Goes barely faster than what Axton could manage, but you definitely expect him to be challenging for the win today at least. Then Viral and Actric both setting their first runs. I don't know how competitive that would have been for Actric, because he's a couple seconds off. Then Petty goes even behind him. Then it's Flavors on an outlap. Then it's the Alpine of Maxi going to be next, but he's invalidated, so he's probably going to go again, but starting on quite low battery. I don't know really what it's like to start a lap round here.
The next one is always going into the line with a 34.5 to set himself in front of his teammates.
It's a big gap from third downwards, and you know, Owais is over a second faster than his teammate. Scooby-Doo with a 34.8.
Yeah, Owais also went out of ERS basically at the more than half of the straight, the start-finish straight in front of him.
Yeah.
So I think if he manages to save some battery, he can gain a lot of time there.
And that's what I was saying about how huge those gaps are going to be. We've got Lux Apex, AJ, and Pixel posting times when we were talking about Owais there. Lux has done a 33.9 to go 9 tenths behind Viral. AJ has done pretty much the exact same time, 100th slower than what Lux Apex did. And then Pix goes into 8th with a 34.9 to go a 10th behind Scooby-Doo. And already the gaps are huge, and it is very, very clear who is the ones that have possibly done that bit more practice. And it's what you'd expect. It's a big part of this game, and especially so on the battery-starved circuits such as this one. Flavors with a 33.3, 6 tenths behind provisional pole from Dylan at 3 tenths behind his teammate Viral. Don't think there are too many cars on a lap. Dylan's 3 tenths up through Sector 1, but that could just be a different battery map. It's quite hard to tell on this game, especially in the first few runs of qualifying. People will definitely be experimenting with their battery, and they might get a big improvement in one sector, but then Dylan's only got 30% ERS, so he comes into turn 12 and onto the strip, so that could cost him.
That's not much.
He's 2 and a bit tenths up, so he's lost a bit in the middle sector, and he's already pretty much out of battery, and I don't think Dylan's going to be improving. His Icon Richard with a 35.8. He's currently in P11, 9 tenths behind Pix. He's just not bothering to go out again, I guess.
Ooh, goes a bit wide there. Under braking. Yeah, we're only 30% of battery for the last trade. It's now he's on 0% and goes back into the pits.
I mean, it's again, I think he gained that time in Sector 1 from using too much battery.
Yeah.
And then that...
I think that from all of the first runs that we've seen, Ackerson had the best management.
Yeah.
Going like 75% at the start of the long straight.
Yeah.
And he didn't use all of it, like up into
he was in
down to 30.
Half of it, and then he started recharging as well halfway down the straight, which gave him a lot for the last one. Silver Surfer just coming into the final chicane, goes a little bit deep, but rotates it through and then spinning the exit. That is strange. To lose in that way, coming back into the pit lane, I'm not sure how competitive the lap would have been anyway. As currently on laps, we have AJ just coming to the end of one. Don't know if he's up on his time, improved by half a second to go up into P5 with a 33.4, slots in a little bit behind where Flavors currently is. Piney Penguin just starting a lap, as is Viral, both of them coming through turn 1. There's the Ferrari there coming out the pit. Still needs to be careful not to be disqualified here with the pace he's going at pit lane exit, but he should be alright. But he's got, that's the Audi of Bazooka just behind him, thankfully is on an outlap. You've also got Axton, who's just going to be starting another lap coming into the final chicane. There's Lux Apex behind him. Scooby-Doo's also out on an outlap. AJ's just finished coming through the middle sector. So then it's all of these guys that we just saw starting. Vara getting a little bit sideways coming out of turn 9, using a bit of battery on the exit, but that's going to put him on quite low battery coming into turn number 12. It's not quite as bad as what we saw a second ago from Dylan, but he does recharge a decent bit though, as he's a bit under 70% coming onto the strip. He's 3 tenths down in the first 2 sectors, but that, again, that could just be the battery difference. He's going to get a bit of a tow from AJ down the straight. There's also Piney Penguin behind them, and then the 2 Ferraris both on outlaps. Yeah, but Viral pretty much runs out long before he gets to the corner, really. It's not terrible, but it's not amazing from Viral as he comes around the chicane a little bit sideways as he kicks the rear out. And again, just running out of battery quite early. We'll see.
Yeah. No, I think Viral had a good management, but he did one mistake. After he deployed at the exit of the long straight, like he turned the battery down, and then when the battery started to recharge itself, he deployed again.
Yeah. So
if he wouldn't have done that, he probably would have had around maybe 15 or 20% more.
Quite possibly.
From what he had before.
Dylan's just...
What he had.
So I think Dylan's just smacked the wall coming out to turn 4. Oh, yeah, like turn 4, which is really turn 2, but for some reason it's turn 4 because the first corner's 2 corners, the second corner's 2 corners as well. He's still 2 tenths up, but I'm fairly sure I saw that car, that Ferrari, go smacking into the wall as he now takes us through the middle sector. He's got Pix in front of him, giving him a little bit of a tow. We've also got Axon coming to the end of a run, but he backed off that one and is going again. Lux Apex just finished, and I'm not sure whether there was an improvement there. I wasn't paying all that much attention. Yeah, like Apex did improve to a 33-1, 2/10 improvement, to just go a little bit further ahead of Flavors. I don't know. I'm forgetting how times work. Axon's a 10th up through Sector 1. Dylan's a tiny bit up through the first 2 sectors. But now he's recharging and getting a bit of a decent tow from his teammate all the way down the strip as he takes us into the final chicane. Pix goes over those curbs, bounces a little bit wide. Dylan's got a bit nicer though as he heads for the run to the line. He's going to run out of battery a little bit early as they're all trying to get the tows wherever they can. He's going to be the first across the line. Out of the 2 of them, goes into 7th. Dylan goes fastest, extending his advantage by 0.3 per second to now a 32.4 as Bazooka goes up into 3rd with a 32.9. Axon's a tiny bit up as he heads down the strip at 45% battery. He's going to have so much to burn in that final run to the line. But possibly has he been a bit too cautious and not deployed enough elsewhere? We'll see as he comes out of the final corner with 70% battery, which he can use all the way up to the line. I don't think he's quite going to get to the point of using it all up. Possibly a bit too cautious on battery, improved by half 10 to a 32.771. And I think that was a case of not using it enough in the first little bit, because he still had an awful lot of battery as he came to the line. Flavors goes into P4, matching what Bazooka did to the 1000th, as Viral is just starting a run coming through turn 1. Silver Surfer there doing a 37.2 to go 8/10 behind what Pettit could do, and is the slowest time we have seen so far. I mean, that gap from 2nd down to about 6th, they're all fairly close, all things considered.
Yeah.
Axon to Bazooka is about 2/10. Bazooka and Flavors have the exact same time, then it's about a 10th, and then Viral to Lux Apex is a tiny margin. And to be honest, even though Dylan to Axon is 7/10, I still think qualifying is very open, just because of how much is in battery management. Like, I think if a driver just works out the battery a bit more, you could see half a second improvements without taking the corners any differently. So you can still see huge jumps all over the field.
Yeah, I don't think most of the guys don't really have like the real approach for the management. So yeah, like you said, if they manage to keep it right for 1 lap, they can improve for half a second or even more.
Yeah.
Viral improves here now for 2.5 tenths. Puts himself into 3rd.
And also puts himself into a wall.
Yeah.
That's it for Viral. 32.8 is the best he's going to do. It's half a tenth, off Ackerson. And it's a good lap. But I think he saw the time as well, because there's only like 3 minutes on the clock, isn't there? As AJ's gone into the wall, I think, there. Yeah, just shunted into the wall. Coming through turn 11 into 12. Not quite sure how you do that one. So AJ in 7th with a 33.4 isn't going to be improving. So I don't think the Alpine there collided with him, of Maxi. I'd hope not anyway, he doesn't seem to have any damage. But Maxi and Lux Apex are just starting runs here. They've gone out with enough time that they can do a lap, back off, and go again. I think, no they don't. They don't even have to, they don't have enough time for that. So it's just, if they mess this one up, they can back off and go again, but they can't do a cooldown lap and go, and like, they can't do push, call, push. So they need to back off early if they're going to do it, because of how you don't get all that much recharge on this game. If you're, if they're down the strip, it's too late to back off. There's a bit of traffic for them to contend with, but it's mostly down the straight, so it's all okay. Lux Apex, 10th up through Sector 1. And Maxi coming through as well, a bit over a 10th, so both up by fairly similar amounts, as now they take it through the middle sector. The real bit where cornering actually matters. And then from here to the line, it's all about the battery. Lux Apex to burning down to 40, even further, down to 30%. It's not going to have very much by the time he gets to the end of that strip, but what we shall see coming through, 50% battery, heading onto the back straight all the way down into turn number 14. It's a long, long way to go, up by a couple of tenths. Maxi up by 6 tenths coming down onto the strip. Lux now on 0, but crucially still holding the battery button down, so not recharging, and will have very little for that final straight. Maxi, keeping himself about 30-35%, is going to have a lot more by the time they get round the final couple of corners.
That's good.
So now Lux Apex hits 0, a long way before the line, and it's just going to be so agonizingly slow for this run to the line. It's a 33-1, and it's no improvement in the end. And I think that's all in the battery, with a spectacular crash after the lap. 8 tenths improvement from Maxi to go up into P7. And now, I think we've got Dylan just starting a run. Bazooka's starting it first, but thankfully the debris of those cars has been cleared up. Dylan and Pick starting their runs here. Bazooka a little bit ahead of them. So definitely have to keep an eye on how those guys start to fare. Oweiser's 4 tenths up, just coming around the last couple of corners. I believe Scooby-Doo's just starting a lap as well, and he's got Axid in front of him. So Oweiser's going to be the first of the line as Bazooka just crosses Sector 1 a tiny bit down on his personal best. Dylan also a bit under a tenth down on his personal best. So they're both going to need to find a bit more time as Oweiser improved by quite a lot in the end to go up into P9 with a 33.8, 1.4 off the current fastest time. That's the Mercedes of Silver Surfer off at the final chicane. Tiny Penguin's heading to the line as well, 4 tenths up as he heads down into the final chicane with a decent bit of battery to spare. Dylan up by 3 tenths through the first 2 sectors. Bazooka is not going to show me. He's up by a bit under 2. And realistically, I think Dylan is pretty much nailed on with his chance for pole. We've got Axton coming around onto the strip as well. He's 3 tenths up, so he can maybe challenge if Dylan doesn't get it right as they head round through the final couple of corners. Dylan seems to have rotated it nicely. Bazooka is out of battery a long way before the line. As he crosses it now, he improves by a tenth to go up into P3 ahead of Viral. Dylan next car across the line, improves by a tenth and a bit to go to a 32.3. Axton now
Akkosen has big improvement.
He does have a lot of battery.
Yeah, Akkosen has a big improvement. Maybe he did the same mistake as before, being a bit too careful with the battery management. Oh,
it's close in the end. It's a bit over a tenth. Axton can't quite improve by what he needs. He's not far off in the end, but it's Dylan on pole, Axton second place, and Bazooka in third, who are very close with the 2 Hasses behind him. But the championship leader takes the pole position as you would quite possibly have predicted going into the race. And Dylan with a run of a podium in every race he's entered so far, and the 2 races and the first 3 being a second, third, and third. In all of those races, he had Austria was just chaos. In Silverstone, he had Mihai and D-Stream being the only 2 ahead of him. Yeah, it's been a very strong season from Dylan. She's on pole by a tenth, half a second Dylan to Bazooka, and then the rest of the field that I probably should have looked at but didn't because I was too busy checking the standings. It's definitely going to be a race where it comes down to the battery management in the race. I think Las Vegas quali might be the least important on this game just at all. I'm just saying that based on what I expect. I've not seen a Vegas League race. I've not done a Vegas League race. But I can't imagine quali matters all that much around here.
I mean, yes and no, because if you can't get the battery management right in quali, then I don't know if you can get it right in the race either.
I mean, like, you just have a bad lap in quali or whatever, and
Yeah, it's also true.
But I guess the big advantage of quali is that you would probably expect the drivers lower down in the field would have the worst battery management, and in the opening few laps, they'll use too much, and then you'll get stuck. Then you'll end up behind them and lose lots of time. So I guess the main advantage of quali is you'd hopefully be far enough ahead that you don't get stuck by the drivers that burn too much too early. But yeah, it's not going to be all that important. It's a mix of hards and mediums. It's presumably all mediums for the guys at the front, yeah. The game did seemingly put everyone defaulting to starting on hards, but most have chosen the medium tire, which you would expect. Top 7 all on mediums. AJ, Pix, Piney Penguin, Scooby-Doo, and Silver Surfer are the ones that have opted for the hards. So then Owise is surrounded by a lot of hard runners. He'll want to stay clear of them really in the first few laps, but we shall see. Drivers just got it parked up on the grid. And then the race gets underway. AJ saying the game wouldn't let him change to mediums, which I think might have been the case for a few. Yeah, sometimes you have to do a bit of messing around with strategies to actually get what you want. Here we go though. 5 red lights, 25 laps ahead of the drivers. It's lights out, and away we go, and it seems to be a pretty decent start from Dylan Ackerson. Really getting bogged down off the line. There's a spinner already. I think that's Piney Penguin facing the wrong way. It's Dylan leading through turn 1 as per. Bazooka into second place, Viral up into third. Ackerson from the front row down into fourth place. Maxi trying to stay ahead of Lux Apex as they head down onto the back straight for the first time, and it looks like Dylan's going to hold his place unless Bazooka's going to fancy the move up the inside into turn number 5. He's going to think about it, but he's not really going to be able to make a serious challenge. Getting a little bit slidey on the exit. Does keep his position though. Yeah, that is Piney Penguin all the way down at the back, having spun long before turn 1, presumably getting hit. Someone going wide there, I think that's Lux Apex as they head through the middle sector. There's a yellow flag again as someone's getting caught up in something. I think it might be an Aston... Oh, it's Lux Apex. Fate just stopped off the track. Dylan now with 1 second advantage of Bazooka seemed to get a bit out of shape through that section. Viral thought about the move coming into turn 12, but again, thought better of it. But in the end, it seems to have been, a clean enough start. Nothing too crazy. So now we see them heading down the strip for the first time. Dylan a second ahead of anyone else. Bazooka down, being pressured, a lot by Viral, but he does hold the place. Axon still down in fourth, but definitely seems to have the best battery management out of these guys in this sort of battle for second. And quite possibly the best battery management in the field, as we saw it in qualifying. And it could well pay dividends for him in the race, as Viral going around the outside of Bazooka into turn 1. Bazooka obviously doesn't have that overtake mode. It's such a big advantage, not just on the straights, but with the recharge through the corners as well. But he does hold on to Maxim, who tried the challenge but didn't quite have enough grip. He is going to think about it though, coming down into 5 on the inside. I think he's going to get that one done. Unless Bazooka wants to fight it, there's only so much he can do. And it's Axon up into third place. Bazooka is trying to fight him back though. Is he going to think about that send? He's not. But Axon with a full battery coming out of the middle sector. And yeah, I think he is the best challenger to Dylan in this race. I think if he does win it, it's, if Axon does challenge him, it's probably because he's just a bit more conservative on the batteries. We've got a VSC as Piney Penguin is in the wall on the entry to exit of turn 8 coming into turn 9. I don't really know how he would have ended up there as he's... Okay, he's just shunted into the wall again.
Yeah.
Is that going to bring out a full course safety car? Doesn't look like it.
No.
I think it would have done already if it was going to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a VSC. It's not a full course safety car. But the restart can very much be a factor in the race, as Axon dropping quite a long way back from Viral, but presumably he's just going to drive into that once we get to the ending point, which, the best part of the game, is we have no idea when it actually ends, so you just got to wait and see. As we go green, coming out of turn number 3 there for Dylan, and it's worked out nicely in his favour. It's just allowed him to recharge a bit of battery, and everyone around him doesn't get the overtake mode anymore, which will cost all of them a bit of pace. As the two Cadillacs, OIs and Action Rick, having a bit of a battle coming down into 5. OIs does get himself back ahead, having got tangled up in something on that point. Didn't get to see it, but he lost a lot of time and places on the opening lap. But Viral is now close to Dylan again. It's closed up a bit from that VSC.
Yeah, Dylan's VSC wasn't really good. It lost around half a second, which now is an opportunity for Viral to go into the 1 second range and getting the overtake mode, which not only helps to somehow manage to attack Dylan, but also to defend from Akazin.
Yeah. And especially at a track like Vegas, it will be a huge, huge difference. And Maxi, being 2 seconds behind, he's really going to feel that lack of overtake.
Viral had a big moment coming out of the chicane.
Doesn't look like Axon's close enough to punish him, though. As it is the first lap of the race from the Williams driver, sitting about 4 tenths behind. Yeah, he's sitting a decent way behind Viral, but he's saving his battery very nicely. But you can already see Maxi's lost 6 tenths in the last straight, just from the difference in battery or whatever. Flavors quite possibly. Flavors doesn't have overtake either. He dropped out, I think.
He will try it now. He will try it now. Maybe not.
No, he's not going to be close enough. And with no battery, there's not really any point making that send, because Maxi's got so much more than him. Didn't look like the ideal line from Dylan coming through that section, but he's all right.
AJ Curtis from behind. And nearly spun Flavors around. So yeah. Oh, Flavors!
It's a big hit into the wall. He's okay. It's not seemingly got any damage from that, but it's a big shunt into the wall. He's now side by side with Pix coming onto the strip into turn number 12. That's a bit of a relief for Maxi, but AJ behind him does have the overtake mode and is on the hard tyres, which in theory will be better for longer. Dylan is trying to break away and open up that 1 second so they come into the final chicane. He might just about be close enough. I think it is, just over 1 second. The gap, we'll see whether Viral will lose the overtake mode. He doesn't. It looked like it was over a second, but Viral's kept
I think he will lose it. He will lose it crossing over the line.
There's the
no, he's not.
And there's the activation point, both basically in the last chicane, and the activation isn't marked, which is really annoying. I think the detection is marked, the activation isn't, because it's the same in real life. You get to activate it a bit before the end of the lap, but in real life they actually mark where the activation is.
They marked the detection with like the blue dot on the bottom right. But I thought the activation point is the start-finish line.
I think it's... Oh no, it might be that little blue line that's in the chicane that's really hard to see. That kind of looks like the sector.
Oh yeah,
I think that's the activation. I thought Viral was out. The gap seemed to say Viral was out.
Yeah, he was out as well, but I don't know.
It said 1.07 on my end, but no, Viral's kept it. And that's big for him because Dylan getting really out of shape coming out to 12, and that's not going to be any help at all in his quest to try and get Viral out of the 1 second. And it is a big hit for him that he couldn't do it on the previous lap. So he's now weaving down the straight, trying to break the toe. Viral's got no battery. Dylan's barely got any. As is Maxi and AJ Curtis going side by side down the strip. But again, Dylan has a little bit more battery than Viral, because I think he's just using it a little bit better, even though he doesn't have the overtake mode. Viral making a mistake on the exit of the chicane, and that's Akasin through. And to be honest, that's not very good news for Dylan, because I think Akasin can possibly manage his battery a bit better and mount a longer-term charge than what Viro can. And,
yeah, I think from the guys behind Dylan, Akosin looks to be the fastest guy, as there is a crash at the back. I think it was Luke's Apex. Yeah, yes, wing damage goes out of the way.
Yeah. I don't think Axon's like clearly the fastest, but it's definitely he seems to be able to manage his battery the best.
Yeah, and that plays the biggest role to
it's not like,
on this track.
And the raw pace, they're all probably quite similar, but then it's Axon's battery management that really puts him above the others, because that's just his like a long-term pace over a stint would be a lot better. But again, like I think Dylan's using a lot more earlier in the straight until the gap opens up, but then Axton uses it a bit more later. It's a big mistake from Byron on the exit. He's kept it nicely, not hit the wall or anything of that sort, but maybe Axton isn't using it enough on this part of the straight, like in qualifying, because you've got to be within the 1 second by the end of it, and it doesn't look like he's going to be there, because he's managing his battery too well. That I don't think he got it. He definitely... Yeah, no, he didn't. He's managing his battery so well that it's costing him. Because he's doing what's optimal for a long-term battery, but he's not thinking about the overtake mode, which he's now lost to Dylan, and that's probably going to cost him much more than the extra 10% battery would have done if he just used it down the straight. As Pix and Maxi seem to be having a great scrap coming through. Turns 1 into 2, now through 3 and 4. Pix gets ahead, has the overtake mode as well, and on those hard tyres that will most likely be the better compound at this stage of the race, but he's now under pressure from AJ Curtis, who's trying to go past Maxi, but he's not going to have enough to do it. And Flavors behind is possibly going to think about something, but he's also not close enough. He goes deep into 5. I think he almost went in the back of AJ, and that's why he had to take avoiding action. AJ sending it up the inside of Maxi into turn number 7, that is, and all the way around through this tight, twisty section. He's going to put the car on the inside. Has Maxi backed out? I think he has. So AJ went right the way up the wall, and that could have been bad. AJ! The back of Pix. Pix seemed to hold his line, wasn't deploying battery at that stage of the straight to save the strip, but AJ just going into the back of him, misjudging the speed differential that's such a big factor of races in this regulations. And now Pix is going to run away through the chaos, got a lot more battery to use and can maybe break the 1 second. Now Maxi's going to come back at AJ, even though he doesn't have the overtake mode, he's just got a lot more battery and can go motoring past. And does he keep it to Pix? I'm not sure. He doesn't. So
Flavors at the back. Yeah,
it's Flavors into the wall as well. I'm surprised so far because we've had quite a chaotic race, but there's been no safety cars.
AJ in the pits, yeah.
And yeah,
no safety cars.
He got quite hefty wing damage from that. That puts him onto a 2-stop.
I mean, I was on board with him, and he had such an overspeed compared to Pix, but I don't know. He
move over. Pix held his line.
Yeah, he misjudged it. Oh, look at the front.
Yeah,
Akerson and the whole group.
They're all right there.
Don't
know what's happened to Dylan over the last few laps, because that gap was upwards of a second last I looked. Then it was down below a 10th coming into turn 5, and now surely Axon's going to have the measure of him as they head down into the strip, because he's got the overtake mode, and he's going to have more battery by the time they get there, because Dylan's used so much on this short straight, trying to pull away. As they head now down the strip, Axon surely can just use all that battery he's saved up, and he's won't need to use all of it. Dylan's on 0, Axton's on 30. As they head down into turn 14, surely he's going to have enough. He's not going to use it all. Bazooka goes past Viral behind them to move up into 3rd place.
That's really close up there.
But now surely this is the time when Axon's big ERS advantage is going to come into it, because Dylan pulled into the pit lane.
In the pits.
He's had enough, but crucially what he has done is given Axon the boost mode for another lap. So Axon can quite easily respond to this on the next lap, because I don't know if pitting out of the train is worth it on this game. I don't know, because Axin now has the boost, and I can't imagine the tire differential at Vegas is too huge. It never really has been.
Will come out, in front of Flavors, which was important for him.
Yeah. He doesn't want, because he doesn't even get boost from him, so he doesn't want to be stuck behind Flavors for half a lap, because he gets no benefit from it, and only just the time loss.
And probably Flavors knows that his teammate is up there fighting for the win.
Yeah.
Could probably cost him even more time.
And the question is whether any of these guys at the front respond. I'm presuming at least one of them does.
17.3 gap. Oh, and that would be a huge thing for VSC. No, he's...
A VSC or a safe start just turns the situation in its head. And everyone picks, and Dylan loses so much from it. Dylan gets past O-Wise, coming into turn 12, and has a decent bit of battery still to use. Like Apex now into pit lane and retires. Can't say I'm especially surprised by that matter. Now, is anyone going to react to Dylan and Pit? Axton looks to be staying out. Viral's going to stay. They are all staying out. They're sticking to their strategies. They're not reacting to Dylan's early stop. Viral challenging Axton on the outside into turn 1. Is he going to have the grip necessary? He's not, because it's just so much better of a line to stay tight. And there's just no way through for Viral. He might try it down into turn 5. But Axton has so much more battery. Can't really afford to burn enough to go for that. As Dylan's now 15 seconds behind these guys, and he is gaining. But he's going to have that. There is going to be the tire offset. You don't know how big it's going to be.
Yeah, 2 laps. It's
it depends when
around,
these guys pit.
I
don't imagine around lap 10.
6.
Because Dylan went on
7-8% probably.
Yeah. I don't know what Vegas tire is like, and I imagine if you're doing quite a lot of lifting and coasting around here, you would gain quite a lot of battery back. Or not battery, but like get a lot less wear. Although it's mainly in the traction anyway. So I don't know. Viral should go past Axton on this lap. You can tell whether they're pitting surely by how much battery they burn, because if you're gonna pit, you might as well burn 2-0 on the lap you're coming in, because you'll recharge so much in the pits. Is Bazooka going to think about it on the inside of Axton as well?
Ooh,
he does go for it, moves up into second place, and that might be a sign of him pulling into the pit lane. As he goes spinning instead on the exit of the final chicane. Viral's coming into the pit lane, Bazooka's coming into the pit lane. Axton stays out, has the boost mode again for another lap, and Dylan is going to get a comfortable undercut on these guys, and an even bigger one on Akasit, you'd imagine. As into the pit lane they both come, you can see Dylan going through turn 1 now, and he's so far ahead. Viral's barely left his pit box, and Dylan's coming through 3-4 seconds ahead. Bazooka's changed his front wing, I believe.
Yeah, 2.5.
Although now Maya actually has no nose cone at all. It's just just floating end plates. There's another yellow flag. That's Peta who's going slowly around the last corner. Yeah, 3.5 seconds from Viral to Dylan. Bazooka now, realistically, without a safety car, is out of this fight for the win and probably the podium as well, unless there's some chaos at the front, which is very, very possible. Axton's burning. He's coming into the pit lane on this lap. As he burns 2-0 on the strip. He's going to flip and recharge a little bit before he gets there. Or before he gets to the chicane, but realistically, Axton is going to be on pretty much nothing as he heads through the final chicane and pulls into the pit lane. And we'll see where he comes out relative to Viral. So yeah. In comes Axton from the race lead. Pix is going to stay out for a bit longer and possibly try to play the wingman for for Dylan, as he's on those hard tyres that can go a fair bit longer than these mediums will. And Axton's in the pit lane. There goes Dylan. Here comes Viral. So they're both going to be ahead of him. It's going to be another 2-3 seconds from Viral to Axton. Yeah, it looks like it's about 3, maybe more.
Yeah, the undercut is pretty strong here.
I think particularly 11 versus, like, lap 10 versus 11 would be a bigger undercut than 9 versus 10, for example. Because just the tyres get older and even worse.
Yeah,
so the fresh tyre delta gets bigger, but yeah, that's quite the strong undercut. You'd think pitting out the train would be worse than it is, really. I guess the thing is, for the pitting out the train doesn't make that big of a difference, because if you have the boost anyway, and then you pit, you'll have the boost for your out lap. So I suppose it's not as bad as it would have been with DRS, because it covers you for the entire lap. You'd imagine now Ferraris are going to swap positions for the lead. Dylan in the slipstream of his teammate, and now ahead of his teammate. Dylan retakes the lead. He starts from pole, and he's back up into P1, and we'll see if Pix tries to back Viral up.
Oh, Eccleston with a time penalty.
Yeah, I mean, again, he's lost quite a lot of track position, but he's still not in a terrible position, but that will make it a lot harder to fight for second place. He should still, at least as things stand, he's still in a net podium position because of Bazooka's penalty. Otherwise, seemingly has gone off through the final corner, brings out the yellow flags as that's who's that in the pit lane? It's AJ coming into the pits with no front wing, possibly having tangled with the Cadillac driver. His second wing change of the race. He might try to go onto a set of the mediums, which he will. Should take him to the end of the race, but tire by the end might not be ideal, as that's now Petter who's gone off at the last corner again, just going too deep and running into the runoff area. That's why it's there. So yeah, now Pix and Viral are pretty much on the same bit of track. Pix has the boost from Dylan, which he might try to use to hold up Viral for as long as possible as they head down the strip. I think what Pix really wants to do is get the boost from Viral and then go straight back past him to turn 1, get him to drain his battery. You know, if Viral is at 0 coming into the chicane, which it looks like he will be, if Pix just has a bit more, is he going to play it that way? He's going to be ahead, coming it through the section point. Viral goes through, gets the boost, and is up into second place. Maybe Pix can learn from that and try to do it differently when he gets to Atkinson in probably a lap or two's time. They might still try to change it to turn 1, but that would just be a silly thing to go for, I think. And yeah, so Viral's past Pix, and give it a lap, maybe 2, as that is Petter getting out of the way of these leaders. And I think Axton will be there, and Pix are going to have to do the same thing again. Probably going to be 2, looking at the pace, although I don't know what it's going to be like in the middle sector. And with the gap being 1.9 right now, I don't think Axton's going to be on him by the time they get to the, in a couple corners' time. It's 3.1 seconds the advantage for Dylan, even with Viral having the boost on this lap. The main place you'll see that benefit is coming up now, because he just has that extra bit of power, can recharge more battery throughout the lap. But I don't think Viral getting the boost has gained him all that much on Dylan. And now Axton's going to want to get himself into the 1 second of Pix if he can, which he will do, and that's going to be a big help for him in getting past on this upcoming lap. And I don't think it'll be all that difficult for him, possibly even be able to go for it before they get to turn 5, as now Pix not with a great exit. Axton's going to go for the small gap on the outside, squeezing his way around. There's contact all the way through as the straight curves. But Axton does get himself ahead quickly and avoids being held up. And so now he's got clean air in front of him, still has boost mode, and can try hunt down Viral and Dylan ahead. 10 laps to go now in this race, and you'd imagine Pix are going to be in the pit lane at the end of this lap. Because I don't think he needs to help Dylan by holding up Bazooka. As Scooby-Doo now calls it a day on those hard tyres, goes off to a set of mediums that will carry him to the end of the race. And if you just look at those gaps out front, the race definitely doesn't... It's not quite as exciting anymore as it was pre-pit stops.
Yeah, there's only one guy yet to pit, and that's Pix. Otherwise, we only have like a current battle with Flavors and Maxi.
Yeah.
But apart from this, the gaps are settled for now.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is at Vegas, it's just anyone can put in the wall on their own and bring out a safety car. As I think...
That's true.
As I say that, I think that was a bit of front wing from the Alpine there of Maxi. He's clipped the wall on the exit of 12. Flavors has left-hand side damage.
Oh, yeah.
Maxi has right-hand side damage, which is probably a bigger impact at this track. As there goes Flavors past into the final chicane, but is he going to have enough of an advantage? They go side by side. Flavors seems to have secured himself the boost mode for the next lap, but he gets a 3 second as he goes off the track coming through. As he tries to stay side by side, as into the pit lane comes Pix, as you'd expect, the Mercedes there of Silver Surfers off at turn number 5, possibly just trying to get out of the way of the leaders. Flavors around the outside. It's a good battle this, as they head into turn 1. And I think Flavors is just going to have the position of Pix comes out
Pix is
right
coming.
in the middle of this fight. It's now 3 wide. That's not going to end well. But somehow, I think they've all made it through without a spinner or without any damage. Pix is going to have the battery... he's going to have the battery advantage. He's going to want to use that to get out of this fight as quickly as he can. Because there's Maxi there. I think he's just clipped the wall coming through turn 5. Which also just isn't going to help him. And it's more in favour of Pix just trying to get away from these two. From these two just... It's definitely not a fight you want to be stuck behind or just stuck in when you have superior pace. But the gap's now 1 second, and yeah, Pix is gonna get out of that. Thankfully for him, he's not, because, you know, being in a fight with 2 cars fighting hard when they both have front wing damage isn't quite where you want to be when you've just come out of the pits. As Maxi's out of battery, here comes Flavors with the overtake mode, goes straight past and back up into 7th place. Is he going to get the boost on from Pix on this occasion? No, he's not. 1.1 seconds.
No.
He gives it to Maxi for the next lap, and we'll see if anything happens there. And is Maxi going to pit? He is.
Yeah, I think his swing damage is a bit too strong, a bit too impactful.
So you're going to go.
He has to pit. Yeah, probably.
He's going to fall behind Scooby-Doo, but he'll get back past.
Unless he's set to hard compound tires.
Yeah, he does have a hard, which is interesting because, and even last game, there's definitely a good argument for going balance allocation around her.
Nah, no, I wouldn't say that.
There still was a good argument for it last game. It wasn't. Yeah, better.
It was, but I can say me personally, I used harder tire allocation for most of the races on the 25 game.
But then Vegas is one of those tracks where maybe you can get away with medium a bit more. But Maxi comes out 6 seconds or so behind that train of Action Rick, AJ and Scooby. So he's going to want to pick the pace up and make sure he gets ahead of them to regain that 8th place. And maybe, depending how bad Flavors... No, he's not going to get ahead of Flavors, is he? He's a pit stop behind. When you think about it. And gaps at the front still very, very wide. I don't think we're seeing any change there. And really, the only battle we have now is AJ and Action Rick. And yeah, no one has boost in that fight. So Action Rick has more battery and is ahead on track. And unless we see a safety car, I don't think we're going to see very much action for the next 7 laps.
I don't think so.
No. I mean, yeah.
That's really pretty much sums up the race.
Yeah. And I went to bed at like 12:15 last night, so that's my excuse. I'm not yawning at the race.
But it would be reasonable.
Yeah. And Pix isn't too far behind otherwise. He should get past before the end. With that 5-lap tyre offset and the better tyres. He'll... Yeah, the gap's 1.2. He'll get past in a couple of laps or so. And then we wait to see if there'll be any change in those battles further back with, you know, like Maxi trying to catch up to Scooby and that lot, but possibly not. There's someone going slowly there. That's just Aston Martin trying to get out of the way, I believe. As that's Pix and Owise who have just gone past him. I see yellow flag and I get my hopes up, and then it's just a back marker not wanting to be in the way. So AJ's gone past Action Rick coming into turn 12. Action Rick very slow seemingly coming through that corner, but AJ's used his battery up too soon. Seemingly as Action Rick's going to want to go for that gap on the inside, but AJ closed the door. Well, they still got a bit more battery. Action Rick's not deploying it. He'll get the advantage as they come down onto the pit straight, and then should be able to get back past if he wants to. That's the thing with this game, like a lot of it comes down to just whether you choose to pass or not. There goes AJ slamming into the walls. He hits the inside of turn 14, hits the inside of 16, then the outside of the same corner. Action Rick not going to burn too much battery to get ahead, but he has a lot more in reserve than AJ, who now has quite severe damage as they come through turn 1 and 2 into 3 and 4 now. And then Action Rick just puts the boost mode on and should be able to get past, and probably wants to get past here to avoid being held up, but I don't think he's going to do so, as that's now Silver Surfer trying to get out of the way.
Oh, the safety car!
There's Silver Surfer in the wall!
Hey!
I thought it was just him trying to get out of the way, but Silver Surfer has hit the wall with only a couple of laps to go. Surely everyone funnels into the pit lane. Maybe Pick stays out and Maxi, but basically everyone else straight into pit lane. If you have a medium, you go for it. Action Rick's got a 10-second for ignoring yellow flags. I think that was because
I would even go for softs at that point.
Yeah, maybe. It's definitely Dylan is going to go for a medium. If you have a medium,
yeah.
I think you go for it, because everyone's softs are basically going to be scrub. Vira and Axiom go for softs. Bazooka's probably... I don't know what Bazooka's going to do. I think Bazooka might have done one less run, so he'd have a fresh soft. In which case he goes with that. Yes, he is. Oh, I was going to pit. Pixie's going to pit as well. Off those 3-lap-old mediums. Possibly good to go for new softs. Dylan might be the only car out there on mediums, but it's not a terrible call.
Yeah, it's not a terrible call, yeah, but
Because,
if you consider like two laps of safety car and then you have 3 laps of racing
or so, if his options are new medium or scrub soft, it's probably about the same.
Yeah, but
because the soft will be 2 or 3 laps old.
But it looks like they all had fresh softs. I mean, every one of them 0 laps,
0 laps
on them.
It just means that 0 laps on the race, I'm fairly sure. Because
yeah, okay, then.
Yeah, I imagine if you've done 3 laps in qualifying, you don't have 3 softs. So,
and I cannot imagine every one of them saved.
Flavor's gone on to a new hard.
A set of softs.
If you went hard allocation, you got to go with the soft.
Yeah, even though I had a lap of qualifying on them, I would use softs at that point as well.
It's a lap of qualifying as well as an out lap and an in lap at least. But at least it's not a hard tyre for 3 laps.
It's like, I don't know, 5% or something.
Yeah, possibly a bit more, maybe like 7 or 8. I don't know. Because it depends how much you think about wanting the scrub soft. Because if I'm just... I save my tyre on the out lap. I don't save it on the in lap because I'm not thinking about that. Apart from when I'm specifically thinking I want to have a decently nice scrub soft. Maxi stays out on his 3-lap old hards. Scooby stayed out on his 5-lap old mediums. And Silver Surfer has stayed out, but I think that's because he doesn't want to be lapped. No, he's gone out onto a scrub hard because I think that's the only tyre he's got left. Because he must have pitted because he's changed his wing.
Yeah.
So he's pitted and gone back out onto a scrub hard. So yeah, Silver Surfer has done a hard, medium, medium, hard in this race. So then the less.
I mean, Silver Surfer's lapped already, so
Petter is as well, I believe.
yeah.
And it says he's a minute 34 behind, but it's only yeah.
Yeah, he is a minute
top,
20 behind Action Rig.
Yeah, top 11. I don't think Action Rig's lapped.
No, he's not.
No. Yeah, it's just Petter and Silver Surfer that have been lapped in this race, and I don't know if they're going to pull out the way before the restart or if they're going to be just another factor in the restart for...
I mean, Silver Surfer
yeah,
is...
Petter's just pulled out the way for AJ there.
Yeah, I mean, Petter only has to let pass Action Rig.
Yeah.
And Silver Surfer's at the back as well. Anyway.
Petter Surfer did let AJ go there, I'm pretty sure, which is good. I don't think the safety car will be in this lap, but it might. I think we're going to get one more lap of the safety car.
Yeah.
Which would then mean we've got
3 laps of racing, yeah.
Yeah. And the less racing we have,
23.
The less benefit there is for Dylan being on mediums, but at the same time, the less time there is for him to be overtaken.
I mean, we need to consider Atkinson has a 3-second time penalty.
Atkinson's going to want as much racing as he can to open the gaps up. And Atkinson's going to want as much chaos as possible to have less cars behind him.
Viral has the best chances.
Yeah.
To fight Dylan and to fight for the race win. He has the tire advantage, he has 2 warnings. So cannot push too hard.
I mean, you can still definitely push, but it's...
Yeah, obviously.
You just can't push the track
but
limits.
Not overdrive it.
And there's only really one place you can get a warning around here. I guess the chicane. It's the chicane and the middle sector.
Yeah, really?
Where else are you going to get a warning?
I would say... okay, I don't know if you can ride the curb on the last corner before the long straights anymore, because you could when the track... There. But I don't know if you can ride it
I mean,
that much anymore.
It was always an RNG curb anyway, so you never really took it in race room.
But I remember it was lower in previous games, so
I remember before.
If you managed to nail it, it was the optimal line.
And it still is in like quali on last game at least. It was still the optimal line, even if it didn't work like 50% of the time, because the time difference was so huge. They made the curbs huge, and then they just stuck a huge old bollard in there for the sake of it. Safety car's in this lap, so Dylan's trying frantically to get heat into those mediums. Flavis' tyres are going to be worse in that, worse in that aspect. Yeah, but the medium tyres won't be ideal for Dylan, at least at this stage. They may be better by the time we get to the final lap. But Dylan's going to lead us away. He's going to want to save battery for the end, but also he's just not going to want to be overtaken. I think we may see a little bit of overtake games on the penultimate lap, because you don't want to be Because the overtake covers you for the entire lap. Dylan accelerates us away into turn 1. Action Rick with a good restart. Ackerson with a good restart, as is Bazooka. Ackerson sends it up the inside of Viral. Can he get that second place away? He's going to be making contact as they head into turns 3 and 4 around the outside. But Viral does hold his position, and that is perfect for Dylan as he opens up 1 second when these guys are fighting already. And there's Axon on the inside into 5. Is he going to think about the move? Is he going to cost Viral more time? As they head through his O-Eyes, tumbling down the field. He's off
Bazooka.
at 5. Bazooka goes past Axon. And now, Fire with the 3 seconds, he takes a little bit too much.
Oh,
on the
yeah.
inside through turn number 8. And surely now Dylan is in a great position for victory. There's climbing into the wall. That is AJ and Maxi there on the exit of turn number 9. And now, Dylan's 1.3 seconds clear. It's 2 cars with penalties. The first car that can really fight him is Bazooka in 4th place, 2.3 seconds behind. And now they head down the strip for what is the 3rd from final time. And Bazooka does move back ahead of Ackerson. But they've been fighting so much. Dylan surely is just checked out and can open that gap up even on the medium tyres. Ackerson gets another 3-second penalty. Puts him up to 6 and really means he cannot be fighting for that podium. He's going to be falling so far down. Even with how the gaps are at the moment, he's going to be down in 7th as things stand. He's now challenging Bazooka again into turn 1 and 2. It's not helping him with the penalty. It's just costing him time for no real track position benefit. He does get ahead though, and it does hold Bazooka up.
And now Pix has a run.
And exactly, yeah, it just puts Pix in a great position up the inside. He's going to think about the move on Axon as well. He's going to be wise to back out of that one, and he does. Axon going a little bit deep again. Bazooka all over him as he burns, coming into turn number 6, that is, on the outside. No penalties for either of them. Bazooka goes off the track, rejoins, still ahead of Pix as they head into turn number 9 now. Pix on the inside of Bazooka. But now it's 2.1 seconds for Dylan, and he is just gone. Not bothering with this fighting behind in the slightest. And now it's the penultimate lap. He's so far clear of anything. As things stand, he can pick up a time penalty and still win. As Axon,
these soft guys have done anything wrong.
Yeah, they've just. Bazooka's back past Pix, down the strip into the final chicane. Flavors is there in this fight, but he's got a time penalty and is on hard tyres. So as they go into the final lap now, I don't know if he's going to have the chance to fight. Ackerson doesn't have the overtake mode for this final lap, as Viral goes straight past on the outside into turn 1. Axon squeezes him as they head into the corner, not giving him any more space than he absolutely has to, as Pix as well trying to set up a move on Bazooka, but he doesn't want to go for it too early. Scooby-Doo losing a couple of places as Adrian Maxi fighting in front of him. Viral now with the run on Axon. Is he going to send it to the inside into turn number 5? Has he got the car stopped? I think he has, as he gets through back up into 2nd place. Axon might have had a better exit, but there's only so much he can do about that. So now Flavors attacking Pix in the same way as Bazooka on the previous lap, but no way through for the Haas driver. It really is just going to go down to the final couple of straights for these fights. Ackerson has all Flavors goes spinning into the wall, coming out of turn number 9, and that might cost him a couple more places as he's got damage, gonna fall down even further, maybe even outside of the point, as now he's got Action Rick right up behind him, and with that time penalty, quite possibly will be outside of the points. Axon now with the run on Viral is gonna try to get it, but he just doesn't have the battery or the overtake mode. I think they are gonna stay as they are now, as they come down through the final sector, but Dylan 2.9 seconds out front. 3.5 will be what it shows on the classification after the penalties. And it's been absolutely brilliant from him. Got the strategy spot on and checks out after the safety car. Dylan wins from pole in Vegas. It's going to be Viral who crossed the line 2nd, but Bazooka takes it on the results after the time penalties. Pix in 3rd. a further 3/10 behind. Viral 4th, Axton 5th, Maxi comes home 6th, AJ Curtis crosses the line 7th. It's going to be Scooby-Doo who gets that place ahead of him. Action Rick gets 9th, Flavors in 10th. Owise and Pet round off the non-scoring positions, and last across the line is Silver Surfer, who gave us a lot of entertainment in the last few laps by giving us a nice safety car.
Oh, well.
At least we had something.
Yeah. It was fun from lap 1 to lap 10. Then a snooze fest from lap 10 onwards.
Lap 10 to like lap 18.
Yeah.
That was fun in the end, and a lot better than I expected it to be. It's a win from pole with the fastest lap for Dylan. He didn't lead every lap, but in terms of dominant drives, that was pretty much as good as they get. Bazooka second place with a nice race in the end, just keeping his nose clean. Picks from 10th on the grid did a good job as well. Again, just keeping himself out of any trouble. Vira and Nakasin not doing themselves favours with the time penalties at the end. Cost them a double, both of them dropping off the podium as a result. Max in 6th, making the most of his race really, having got the damage, and he showed decent pace, I think, but you couldn't really get anywhere with it. Scooby-Doo getting the points, keeping his nose clean, getting no penalties, and benefiting from the late safety car. AJ with the points as well. Action Rick in 9th, similar story. Flavors, he definitely could and possibly should have done better with that spin on the last lap, costing him to 10th place. Then Owise, Petter, and Owise being the last car on the lead lap. Petter and Silver, not really races to remember, but they made it to the end, which is commemorable. And I enjoyed those last few laps, and I really didn't think I would.
Yeah, I thought that this race is just going on until the end. Nothing happened. But yeah, the safety car in the end put up some show for us and for the viewers. It was fun in the end, yeah.
Yeah. And, battles at the front in the last few laps is basically like exactly what you want. And that's what we got in the end. But I think what that really shows is just the power of the undercut. Even in a train, it seems the undercut is quite powerful around here. Yeah,
this will be a big news for the guys watching who are still yet to race tomorrow and Saturday.
Just the entire rest of the league watching. And the big one is the guys that race tonight have the experience over anything.
Yeah,
that's you can watch and analyze the races and the strategies or whatever, but you didn't drive it. You don't know the ins and outs. But yeah, that was entertaining in the end, but it was without the safety car. That is a race defined by strategy, and gives a clear indication of what we might see tomorrow night. I'm around. I don't know if I'm doing tomorrow for comms. I don't know if they're full or if didn't really ask. But I can do tomorrow if we're doing tomorrow. But I don't know if I'm needed.
I don't know. I'm there, but as a driver.
Yeah.
This time. I'm gonna be out there on track. I don't know about Felix, but as far as I know, he should be available.
Yeah. But congrats to Dylan and the other podium finishers, Bazooka and Pix. And Dylan now further extends that advantage out front, I believe. No, it's still Lanky in second place. But Dylan's going to be leading by 30-odd points now, with Lanky not attending, and a further 26 in the bag for Dylan puts him on to a 34-point advantage, if I have calculated that correctly. So and I believe that's just over half the season to go. 34 points is doable for someone to gain, but it's definitely big advantage in Dylan's favour for these last few races, and to see how they pan out, you're just going to have to watch the future streams. But thank you for watching tonight. hope to see any viewers around tomorrow evening, Saturday evening, next week, anytime in the future, really. And that's all I got to say. If you want to say any more, or we can just end it now.
No, I'm down for today.
Yeah, so hopefully see any viewers around in the future. That's all we got for the stream this evening, so enjoy the rest of your day, and good night.